Hi, everybody, on another chilly, frosty Saturday morning. Well, if you haven't heard, it does appear likely that this is going to turn out to be in Portland a record tying stretch of consecutive days with no measurable rainfall. The record is 17. Next Wednesday would be 17. There's no moisture in the forecast between now and next Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Rod Hill coming to you from the Portland, Oregon, Vancouver, Washington area. On the left, this is actually the map tomorrow on Sunday, but basically high pressure ridge overhead, which is what we've had. It hasn't been the exact same ridge, but it keeps reforming. Yesterday we had another batch of dry, cold air drop out of Canada, and then the ridge is going to be redeveloping. But on the right, rain is coming. All the models have been really consistent on showing this. The inconsistency is, do we get measurable rainfall developing during the day Thursday? Some models say it holds off until Thursday night. All the models show we have rain coming into Sunday, and we'll take a look at those numbers coming up. First, here are the specs on the dry weather. Today on the Saturday, day 13 of no measurable rainfall consecutively in Portland. January, again, we've gone over these numbers. January picked up over 2 inches first week of the month. The climate average for the 31 days is 5 inches. The driest January, only 1.02 back in 1949. And again, you have to have under 2 inches of rain to even sniff some of the dry January lists. So we won't do that. But the dry streak to reach 17 days, that's a high confidence call at this point, which is next Wednesday. That would tie the longest record of no precip in Portland, no measurable precip, going back to January of 1948. Pretty impressive, right? All right, Momentous Wealth Podcast. Listen on Apple Podcasts, listen on Spotify. Again, if you're interested in investment topics, educating yourself on what you should be doing, what to expect out of your mutual funds, your 401ks, that type of thing, you'll find the topic that you will be interested in. Listen on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify, the Momentous Wealth Podcast. We thank them for sponsoring my work. Okay, let's get you going. So these were the 8 o'clock temps, so not necessarily the official lows. In fact, it looks like Portland has been down to either 30 or 31 this morning, but at 8 o'clock, you get the idea of what the temperatures have been as you start your Saturday. And just look at the map, 18 in Vernonia. There are some cold spots, 25 Scappoose, 26 Battleground, 30 down in Salem, 28 in Oregon City. There has been a bit of a north to north east breeze across the area. So calm wind areas in the 20s. The rest of us have had just a touch of wind. It doesn't take much. Have been holding around 30, 32. Notice Gresham at 36. We have had north to east winds coming out of the gorge to about 15 miles per hour this morning. Again, when the air moves, it doesn't settle and reach the low temperature it otherwise would, but you get the wind chill, so kind of defeats the purpose. All right, other temps. Again, these are 8 o'clock numbers. You folks down in Medford, 23, North Bend, 36, Burns, 16, Baker City, 18, and it's been in the teens up on Mount Hood. So overall, this is a very cold batch of air that moved in yesterday. Yesterday, by the way, were you out later in the day? Portland hit 52 on Friday, which just defies what the air mass indices were that we are supposed to look at to determine the temperature. So it just basically means it took a while for that colder air to start moving in. Today, I think we have to at least hold in the 40s, but we have a sunny day and a decent day coming up. I want to talk about wind real quick. Again, this is on my Columbia River Gorge weather page and on the weather site that I own and operate, portlandweather.com. So I also have an app. If you search Portland Weather on the app, you'll see my logo and that will come up. And for the most part, you can find all the same information. But it's really easy on the desktop version, which, by the way, is coded so it shrinks to your screen size. You can also use this on your phone if you don't want to download the app. But let's check out Corbett. If you click on the temperature current map on the gorge page, you get the hourly obs, which is where the wind is found. And so far, the wind is not bad. So it's what? Coming up on 9 o'clock on the Saturday morning, Corbett east winds. Well, I'm thinking that NMR might be busted because I find it hard to believe that the winds were gusting to 19 miles per hour that consistently, right? That seems that seems a little weird to me. So let's assume that may not be working. Crown Point, we do know, bum ba is blowing to it's a north wind more or less, and they're gusting to only in the 30s, which isn't really bad, right? Troutdale's been gusting to about 14, 15. So weather models say that there will be some veins or arteries of east winds coming out of the gorge today into the valley, infiltrating in scattered areas, 10 to 20 miles per hour. If you're blocked by the wind, you won't get any. If you're blocked by the east wind, you'll be calm. But other areas, 10 to 20, little breeze. And out in the gorge, maybe the winds pick up and gust more than 30 miles per hour during the day today. Maybe they don't. The tightest pressure gradients out of all of this are actually down in southern Oregon. So, and down toward the California border, where I think it's got to be breezy. So, we'll see how much wind we end up with or not. All right, here's the overall weather pattern. This is this afternoon. This is the American GFS model. There's the reason for the rain chances down in California, cut off low down over the Bay Area this morning. But we're looking at this big ridge where you see the 500 millibar contours of equal pressure come up and around us. The center of the upper level high is the enclosed contour, 579, which is a strong high certainly for this time of the year. And this is just going to dominate us and dominate us and dominate us and dominate us and dominate us all the way into Tuesday, into Wednesday. It starts the weekend. The confidence is high. Will stay dry on Wednesday. And then here's Thursday morning. And some of the models bring this trough, at least moisture ahead of it inland and give us developing rain on Thursday. Other models hold off until Thursday night or Friday morning. Again, this is the American GFS model, which likes us staying dry Thursday, so we'll see. But then the trough certainly on Friday into the weekend comes overhead. Here's the polar jet, that 540 millibar contour. The polar jet I was trained is actually the 46 uh, millibar contour, which would be right down here into southern Oregon. So this is definitely snow levels of 2,000 feet or lower this upcoming weekend. I'll look at snow in just a moment. And then it's a really cold trough, but I think it's just rain for the flats of the valley. But notice what happened. This is developing rain Thursday or Friday, rain at times through Sunday. This is Sunday afternoon. And then look at it. We get another trough of high pressure that builds in for a few days that following, week into February. This is February 3rd. So, you know, I'll tell you what, a lot of dry time. But finally, at least some moisture is starting to show up on the models as we just saw. So between now and Wednesday, the only story really is the east winds, which don't look like they're going to get extreme today, and they'll be calmer Sunday. And mainly Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're looking at light winds all over the place. So this is just going to show you the lows. The daytime highs will be in the 40s to eventually reaching 50 at the coast, and eventually some 50s coming up in the Willamette Valley as well. So we're really focused on the lows. Here's tomorrow morning. This is more of what we've been seeing. Notice 25, 29, 25, 29, pardon me, Puget Sound up into the Seattle area. 26, 27, 26 around the Portland metro area. 31 out in Troutdale with a bit of an east wind, perhaps. And then you've got low to mid 20s all the way down to Eugene and farther south. And you've got freezing temperatures to upper 30s along the coast. So that's Sunday morning. That's exactly what we've been seeing. This is no change on Monday morning. Freezing temps to up to above freezing in the 30s along the coast. 26, 27, 24 up and down the I-5 corridor, 20s up in Seattle, some single digits out east. Look at that. Wow, out of Malheur and Harney counties, temperatures in the single digits out that direction. So again, it's not that the air mass itself is overly cold, it's that it continues to be very dry, and that's really allowing these cold nights. I mean, let's just fast forward into Wednesday morning. This should be the final hard freeze morning, but still 26, 28 degrees up and down the I-5 corridor. Thursday, we start to get some cloudiness coming in. It looks like a dry start. This has some warming, and this may be too cold, 28, 30, 32 up and down the I-5 corridor. By Friday, we have clouds. This is showing well above freezing, 36, 38, 37. Same thing up in Seattle. 40s down around Newport and then south along the Oregon coast. Still freezing, but warmer out across eastern Oregon. And then we get into a rainy pattern. And again, this is Saturday morning. We're well above freezing as you would expect us to be. So what about total precip? Here's Thursday morning. Again, some of the models show developing rain during the day Thursday. This American GFS model basically keeps us dry until Thursday evening or Thursday night. We'll see. This is just showing you accumulating rain totals. So let's go through the day Friday and I'll stop it. So through the day Friday, this shows up to a half of an inch of rain in Portland, 42 100ths or so up in Seattle, about 4/10 of an inch of rain down around Albany, quarter of an inch down around Eugene. You've got amounts that are 3/4 to an inch up and down the coast. You got lighter amounts out east. That was Friday. And then precip amounts continue Saturday, and precip amounts at times continue on Sunday. There's actually a couple of different waves of cooler air with fronts that come in over the weekend. So this shows weekend totals upwards of half of an inch to an inch of rain from Seattle all the way down the I-5 corridor, and a half of an inch, an inch and a half to two along the coast, and then some measurable precip across much of eastern Oregon. So that's good news. Snow levels, by the way, I'm looking at my notes. Behind that first front, going into the day Friday, snow levels could be as low as 2,000 feet. And then snow levels at times could get down to 1,500 feet Saturday. But generally, it's a 1,500 foot to 2,000 foot snow level on Saturday and Sunday. So that's some good Cascade snow. And here's what the models say about it. So this is total snowfall developing this Thursday or Thursday night in through the day Sunday. This shows 16 inches of snow up around Mount Hood, 14 inches of snow farther south down the Cascade chain. You've got higher amounts in the Washington Cascades, but not significantly higher, 18, 21, 22 inches. And what I really want you to notice, this is picking up those 1,500-foot snow levels over the coast range. Unclear right now if the snow levels get to 1,500 feet or lower, which would impact some of the higher pass highways on the coast, or is this all above where we would be traveling? But certainly it's showing the peaks of the coast range picking up some decent snow. I mean, where you see these purple bullseyes, that's 8 inches or more in the coast range. So FYI, if you have plans to travel the back half of next week into that weekend, you'll want to keep an eye on what the snow levels are doing over the coast range if you're going to be driving back and forth between I-5 and the Oregon coast. And it would be winter conditions for snow-covered passes easily up into the Cascades. Just, I mean, the resolution is not perfect on this. This is why the lines kind of blend in, but generally speaking, this is not showing any snow in the flats of the I-5 corridor or the Willamette Valley. So that's kind of what we're looking at. Let's go around the horn on this Saturday morning. All dry through Wednesday. That's going to be a theme. Overnight lows in the 20s down in Medford into Monday anyway. Daytime highs mid 40s today, but by Monday you're starting to warm back up into the 50s. Over in Bend, 18 this morning at 8 o'clock. 31 a high today. 34 tomorrow. Very cold night. Starting to warm up as we go into next week. Tuesday, 47. Wednesday, around freezing in the morning, 50. And then there's that chance of rain and snow after that. Salem, good morning to you folks. All dry through Wednesday, similar themes. Hard freezes in the 20s, daytime highs in the 40s. There's a chance of rain developing on Thursday and Friday, kind of what we just talked about. Going to be a similar situation up in Seattle, daytime highs in the 40s, and freezing nights potentially all the way into Tuesday. Yeah, how about that? Okay, North Bend, let's see here. Overnight lows freezing or at least in the 30s into Tuesday, but daytime highs 50 or better. That's really nice weather, right? And what's Astoria doing? Astoria, pardon me, doing? Kind of similar, right? All dry through Wednesday, lots of sun along the coast. Pendleton, 21 this morning. You've got all dry weather through Thursday. That absolutely makes sense. Your first chance of moisture developing on Friday. Overnight lows, low 20s, Sunday morning, Monday morning, maybe getting a little bit warmer, but freezing Tuesday into Wednesday and Thursday morning. Daytime highs the next several days will only be in the 30s. Okay, and here is Portland's 7-day forecast. Again, all that information can be found on my weather site that I own and operate, portlandweather.com. Hazeldale Tire Pros sponsors my 7-day forecast for Portland. Again, this is my own work. 47 today is what the models show. And if anything, it's probably going to be warmer. I tell you what, if we don't get as much wind today as previously thought, the sun will do its thing, and maybe we do get warmer than 47. At any rate, a decent afternoon. Hard freezes, though, in the 20s or at least down to 30 in the city all the way into Tuesday morning. Eventually, we're getting up to about 50 degrees. Could be, as we get a moderating warming air mass and the dew points start to come up, you don't have to get as cold to get fog. So maybe we have fog Wednesday morning in the Valley of the Sun. There's the developing rain potentially during the day, Thursday into Friday. And then real quick, because I know some of you are interested, before I get out of here, wish you a nice weekend. I mentioned it's been cold up on the mountain. Timberline, 9 o'clock this morning, 18 degrees. Meadows, 24. They've been windy. They had, I think I wrote it down. They had wind gusts up there this morning, 20 to 40 miles per hour. Meadows was talking about keeping their upper lifts closed today because of the wind. 25 degrees at Government Camp this morning. All the passes are in good shape, of course. And there are the temperatures. Could get up to freezing today and then starting to moderate at 4,000 feet Sunday, Monday, Tuesday into Wednesday. Okay. That is your forecast. I'm meteorologist Rod Hill. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. It helps me out. You'll be notified when I post. And for now, I will wish you a good weekend. I'll talk to you tomorrow on Sunday.